Veeam v12 exam practice questions with explanations are available in the video for you to study. A Veeam engineer has set up a scale-out backup repository, SOBR, with AWS S3 as the performance tier. Backup jobs are configured to retain monthly full backups for 12 months. The engineer wants backups to automatically move to Amazon S3 Glacier after 90 days. Which configuration step must be performed first? A. Create a vault in S3 Glacier. B. Add AWS S3 as a capacity tier before Glacier can be used. C. Add an archive tier that points to the correct S3 bucket. D. Reconfigure the SOBR to use block storage as the performance tier. The answer is C. Veeam uses performance tier for primary storage, capacity tier for offloading to object storage like AWS S3, and archive tier to move older restore points to cold storage like S3 Glacier or Glacier Deep Archive. To offload data after 90 days, the engineer must configure an archive tier linked to the S3 bucket. In data protection planning, which statement best describes the recovery point objective, RPO? A. Identifies when a backup should be moved to object storage. B. Defines how many restore points must be available for recovery. C. Specifies the maximum acceptable downtime for a workload or application. D. Indicates the maximum amount of data loss a business can tolerate. The answer is D. RPO measures data loss tolerance, not downtime. It defines the acceptable point in time to which data must be restored after an incident. For example, if the RPO is 4 hours, the business accepts losing up to 4 hours of data. Downtime tolerance is measured by RTO, not RPO. A backup engineer wants to manage all Veeam backup and replication functions without logging in directly to the backup server or using remote desktop. Which step should the engineer take? A. Connect to the Veeam Backup and Replication server using SSHB. Install the necessary Veeam explorers locally. C. Install the Veeam Backup and Replication console on their workstation. D. Use Enterprise Manager to connect directly to the backup server. The answer is C. The Veeam Backup and Replication console allows remote management of backup infrastructure from the engineer's workstation. SSH isn't supported, Veeam explorers are only for restores, and Enterprise Manager offers monitoring, reporting but not full configuration control. An organization is protecting a Microsoft Exchange 2016 environment with database availability groups, DAGs, using Veeam Agent for Microsoft Windows. Which option must be enabled to ensure the databases are properly backed up? A. Standalone server. B. Advanced Exchange backup. C. Exchange processing. D. Failover cluster. The answer is C. When protecting Microsoft Exchange, especially DAGs, Veeam requires Exchange application-aware processing. This ensures database consistency and proper log truncation. Options like standalone or failover cluster don't provide application-aware backup, and Advanced Exchange backup is not a valid Veeam setting. In Veeam Enterprise Manager, the restore operator role can be assigned with granular restore permissions. Which type of item-level restore can be specifically allowed for this role? A. SharePoint items. B. Active Directory items. C. OneDrive items. D. File items. The answer is D. The Restore Operator role in Enterprise Manager is designed for delegated restores. Granular permissions can be applied at the file level, letting operators restore files without granting full admin rights. Item-level restores for AD, SharePoint, or OneDrive require additional application-aware processing or permissions beyond the Restore Operator role. An engineer must protect data stored on a NAS file share at the company's main production site. Which configuration change would most improve the backup job performance? A. Deploy the backup proxy and cache repository on the same network as the NAS. B. Assign a higher priority to the backup job. C. Enable Veeam WAN accelerators for the job. D. Deploy the backup proxy and cache repository on a dedicated backup network. The answer is A. For NAS backups, performance depends heavily on network proximity. Placing the backup proxy and cache repository close to the NAS minimizes latency and improves throughput. Job priority does not boost speed. WAN accelerators are for remote site transfers, and a dedicated backup network alone doesn't guarantee optimal performance unless it's local to the NAS. During a failover, certain replicated VMs must be configured to start with a time delay to control the boot sequence. Which Veeam feature allows this? A. Create a failover plan. B. Adjust the boot delay in an application group. C. Use pre-freeze, post-thaw scripts. D. Modify the failover template file. The answer is A. A failover plan defines the boot order and startup delay for replicated VMs during a failover. Application groups are used in ensure backup testing, pre-post scripts handle application consistency, and template modifications are not part of the failover process. In Veeam Service Provider Console 7.0, which type of solution can service providers deploy directly from the console? A. Enterprise plugins. B. Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365. C. Veeam Backup and Replication. D. Veeam 1. The answer is B. Service Provider Console 7.0 extends deployment and management capabilities to Veeam Backup for Microsoft 365, enabling MSPs to deliver Microsoft 365 protection as a service. While it integrates with VBR and Veeam 1, those components aren't deployed directly from the console. An administrator needs to change an existing backup copy job from periodic mode to immediate mode. Which action allows this change? A. Modify the job settings on the proxy performing the copy job. B. Enable immediate mode on the repository. C. Edit the original job and select immediate copy mode in the job settings. D. Create a new copy job and delete the original job. The answer is C. Veeam Backup copy jobs can switch between periodic and immediate mode directly in the job settings. Immediate mode triggers the copy job right after a new backup is created. No changes are needed on the proxy or repository, and creating a new job is unnecessary. An engineer manages 3 Veeam backup and replication servers across different data centers. The engineer wants to implement centralized licensing and role-based access control with minimal effort. Which solution should be used? A. Install the remote console on a client machine. B. Use the Veeam web portal. C. Build a custom web portal using the REST API. D. Deploy Veeam Enterprise Manager. The answer is D. Enterprise Manager provides centralized management of multiple Veeam backup servers, including license management, role-based access control, and delegated restores. Remote consoles and REST API customizations are more complex and do not provide out-of-the-box centralized control.